Good morning, afternoon, evening, YouTube, whenever you are watching this. Excuse the wet hair, but it is now 12:15, Wednesday the 15th of January. And as per every day at this time when it's a training day, I'm about to go and train. So I've got my pre-workout avocado and tuna ready to put the pasta on top, which is just cooking off there in the pan. So today is actually my last sort of full volume session of this training block before prep starts, which is insane. So essentially it's Friday coming, I'm getting my brows done, which means I'll be taking some time away from training, and then I'm going away next week. So yeah, I will probably do a small session on Friday morning, but I don't think I'll get time for a full volume one. So I'd rather train than not train at all. So I'm hoping that this won't be my last session of the block, but it's certainly my last lower day, which is, it's a full lower session today. So all my other sessions are pretty much split. I actually hit lower like 4 times a week. But for example, one of the days is like glutes and push, and I just do 2 glute exercises at the start of the session, and then the rest is push, and it's only 4 sets of glutes. But I am still hitting lower like 4 times across the week. And then it was yesterday when I had my pull session, which is just my one full upper day of the week. My lats are absolutely fried from that, to be fair. They're really sore today. But yeah, it's lower today. I will take you through as much of that session as I can, considering it's the last session, really, proper full volume session of this training block. But for now, I'm going to put my pre-workout together. We're still in this maintenance block because obviously being close to prep now, we haven't increased food. So I checked in yesterday. There's my check-in photos. Best I've ever looked according to my coach, which I can take, holding weight nicely at 147 pounds. And like I say, we're just maintaining in this maintenance block. We're holding weight, and we're trying to just keep everything as consistent as possible so that when we drop into prep, my body responds nice and quickly. But yeah, so 2,860 calories going in today. I'll see you in the gym. So, in with this session, and a quick disclaimer as well before you watch. I have put this session on the channel before, back when it was a very fresh new session to me back in November, when it was all into my second week of the new training block with a new coach. Now it's obviously 2 months down the line, running the same session. So I did have a little look back at the video I put up back in November, 8 weeks ago, and it was interesting to see how much progress I've made across this entire session. So realistically, the volume has escalated on some of the movements, and then I will update you on that throughout the session. And then also just in terms of obviously weights increasing and stuff like that. So yeah, but the session itself, all the same exercises because everything runs beautifully. I really enjoy this lower session. So standing calves to start with, which as ever is working beautifully because it means I put loads of effort into my calves to start the session. I no longer dread them and rush them at the end of the session. This is the rest pause set as well that you might have seen before if you have watched that far back. If you're new, and I have had a lot of new subscribers recently, then crack on and enjoy this one. You haven't seen the session already. But yeah, calf raises with a rest pause set. So basically we aim to fail within the 15 to 20 rep range. And then after that, we need to get a total of 30 reps. So we do that by taking as many small rest pauses as we need to. So taking basically 10 to 20 seconds off and then going again, obviously same weight because it's not a drop set, it's a rest pause set. So we go again on the same weight and we get as many more reps as we can get until we hit another failure point. And then again, we just keep going until we get to 30 reps, no matter how many rest pauses that takes. But usually takes me 2 rest pauses to get there. So it's a really nice intensifier, and it just means that I've got the first working set, straight set, and then I've got this second working set, which is a rest pause set. It just gets calves out of the way. But hopefully you can tell from the video, I certainly think so. My calves are looking actually all right for once. So I do feel like, training them twice a week is really working. Exercise 2 then is adductor. Nothing much has changed about this. Still 2 straight sets. We've got a set of 15 to 20 reps, followed by a set of 10 to 12 reps. So starting with a high repper and then going into low reps. And it's at the start of the session. As I said in a video I did recently, I've got adductors at the end of my quads and delts session. And then this time we start it when I'm more fresh. So it's kind of like I'm sort of training it twice a week, but one of the sessions I'm a lot more fresh for it. Sort of basically the first exercise excluding calves, and then the other session it's right at the end. So yeah, it's good having it in twice a week though. Onto the seated hamstring curl for exercise 3 then. And I have included a seatbelt now as well into the exercise, which not something I've particularly discussed with my coach. In fact, I haven't. Obviously, I've been training many years, like coming up to 8 years, like in terms of serious training aimed towards like hypertrophy / bodybuilding. So, I do obviously still just like to generally experiment, do things for myself, try things out, figure things out. I don't always need to sort of ask my coach as such. So just something that I realised for myself, essentially, when it comes to the fact that I was struggling previously with that lower back sort of coming off the pad and, taking tension off the hamstrings. And I have obviously been focusing on making sure that I do keep my lower back glued to the pad. And we are obviously always wanting to keep our hips down as well in a seated hamstring curl, something I see a lot of people struggle with because they're just basically going too heavy. But yeah, I've realised recently that obviously adding a seatbelt to this exercise, as well as the leg extension, which I always add to, is really beneficial for me, just holding my hips down as well. Then yeah, that's what I've been doing. And also, as you'll see now, this is a third set, which is now a drop set. So I did drop the weight just then, and then we go in with as many more reps as we can till failure. So this was previously 2 working sets. We've then upped it to 3 working sets, and then we've added a drop set to it as well, because hamstrings are really my main focus. They're one of my weakest areas of my physique. So, when we do go to add volume, we are always looking at hamstrings and glutes as well, as opposed to quads. Onto the glute drive then, which hasn't changed. It's 1 set of 8 to 12, followed by 1 set of 12 to 15. This was my top set, so I've got like 80 kilos on here, 2 plates aside. In my previous video, it was 60 kilos. This is actually my first time going up to 80. Taking me ages to sort of build up this weight. For me, I really do focus on going a lot lighter than most females do on any kind of hip thrust movement, because otherwise I just really find that other parts of my lower body musculature take over, and I do want it to really just be all about my glutes, so I do prefer to go light, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, I've said it previously, this machine is a little bit big for me, so rather than being sort of, as you should be, a 90-degree angle at the top of the rep, as you'll see when I come to the top of the rep, it's definitely not 90 degrees. My legs are stretched quite far, but so it pulls through my knees a little bit, but I do still get a decent glute connection, and I do this movement twice a week as well, so we are really working on my glutes. Exercise 5 now, so we're still really on isolations as far as I'm concerned, which is why I love this session so much. I just can focus on every single movement. I'm not gassing myself out like you usually would, get into sort of exercise 2 or 3 being a big compound like a hack or a leg press. It's like every single movement I can really focus on, and I'm not absolutely gassed throughout this session. So anyway, this is the hyperextension, which I have been working on this setup. I mentioned it in the last run through of this session, with the Luna pad to elevate my hips so that I can actually get the depth at the bottom. I can get that full stretch without the dumbbells touching the floor and taking it away from me. So yeah, what I've been really focusing on is thinking about the fact that where my ankles are on that pad at the back there, I'm really thinking of driving my ankles into that pad. And it helps to just like propel me up nice and fast, contract hard in the glutes and just really focus on them. And at the same time, just keeping my lower back nice and slack, which you should always do when you're doing a hyperextension. Just think about, keeping your lower back nice and slack. None of the work wants to be going through your lower back. You want it all to be in your glutes. So yeah, just really driving through with my ankles onto the pad to propel myself up nice and fast and just kind of get a really sharp contraction and have nothing to do with the lower back. And on to my nemesis, which is the horizontal leg press, the Cybex leg press. We banned it as well because I've explained previously, but in the lengthen range. So when you push out here, there's absolutely no weight. It's like pretty much a weightless machine. So the band just keeps constant tension on the movement like throughout the whole rep, which is why we've got the band there. But yeah, I've managed to progress this one quite well in terms of weight, getting quite near the stack again with a band. So yeah, feeling very strong on it. It is just a case of I do tend to bottle the last rep that I could get every single week. It's really irritating. I just have this mental block in terms of being able to really, really take it all the way there. And what I've been focusing on with my coach is just really, really working on my bracing. So here I'm like still breathing, and then I'm taking in my air, but not too late in the rep that I then sort of don't set myself up to fully be able to perform the next rep. Because if you don't brace in time, you're not going to have the oxygen there really to then like press through the next rep, and that's when people find that they fail and stuff. So you've got to brace in time, but obviously not too soon either. You want to keep breathing throughout the eccentric portion of the rep. So that's something that I've really been working on. So that last rep there I could have had one more, and it is frustrating. And I did it a lot better last week actually when I wasn't filming, but for some reason this week I just bottled it, unfortunately. But I'll show you the next set in full as well, the back off set, which I don't go much lighter on, to be fair. It's still really hard.
Yep. Oh. Okay. Oh.
Last but not least, the delightful leg extension. 2 working sets, 12 to 15 reps. That's the last of the legs. I also do 4 sets of dumbbell laterals at the end, just to keep working on my delt caps, and they're all drop sets now as well, so I do like 4 drop sets at the end for my delts, which I didn't film. And the leg extension sets are just straight sets. That's never changed. Quads aren't a priority for me. That's why they're at the end of this session as well, rather than like, at the beginning when I'm fresh. They're at the end because it's just like a bit of an add-on. Get some quad volume in there. But I am quad dominant and I do need to work on my hamstrings. So that's why they're just stuck at the end of the session, and we keep the volume where it's always been. 2 working sets. That was a fabulous leg session ticked off. Not quite sure how long it took me. Felt like I was in the gym for a couple of hours, but that is the thing when it's a full lower day. And as I've said, I do hit like legs or my lower half 4 times a week, but it's split up. So I'll have push and glutes on a Monday. Tuesday's pull, so it's my only day where I just hit upper. Wednesday's the full leg day, and then I rest on a Thursday. And then on Friday, it is push and quads, which you've seen in the last video. And then Saturday is my posterior day, so it's like hitting back, hamstrings, glutes. So I am hitting my lower half 4 times across the week, and then resting on a Sunday, obviously. Cardio on rest days, 2 lots of 23 minutes. That is the setup at the moment. Working really well for me. My recovery is great, and I'm having no issues with sort of hitting legs at that frequency just because of the way that the volume is split up. For example, like training quads and training hamstrings, it means that there's not too much interference there, and it's working. That's the whole point. It is working. So happy days. All right, so that is a wrap up of my training as it stands at the moment. And we are about 2 weeks until prep starts now. 2 weeks and 2 days. 16 days left. So I am super excited. Like I said previously in the video, I've got a trip away next week, and I've got a friend's birthday the week after, so I've got a couple more weekends just to kind of really soak up the last of the off season in terms of enjoyment. Also, yeah, don't judge the brows. It's like a semi-permanent tattoo, and the first few days is when they're like boom, and then they do flake away and calm down. So I'm currently in the first few days of new brow look. So these are the reason that I'm not training at the moment, and I can't even do my cardio today. It's now Sunday. I actually have an excuse to skip cardio for once. So anyway, yeah, like I say, that is the update on where I'm currently at really with my training. I've said about my cardio as well, so it would just be on a Sunday and Thursday, which are my rest days. I just do 23 minutes on those days. Food as it stands at the moment, so 2,860 on a training day, and then I think it's like 2,500 and something on a rest day. So I'm obviously just going to be running rest day calories now for the next few days, really, while I'm not training. They are 2,532. So we're looking at basically the protein and fats are similar. So they're 168 grams of protein on both days. And then we've got 52 fats on a training day and 430 carbs. And on a rest day, we've got 60 fats and 330 carbs. So an extra 100 carbs goes in on a training day, basically. And then a little bit more fats on a rest day. And that is the difference of it, really. So that is where I've pretty much ended the off season. Like I say, we won't really be making any more changes now. I'm just in the maintenance block. I'm still 147 pounds. I was this morning as well. And so we're just really holding at the moment, obviously, whilst I enjoy a few little last moments of, you know, the off season and kind of being a bit more flexible and things like that. So obviously that just happens on the weekends when I've got plans and things. But apart from that, I'm just sticking to it as it is during the week. So I will run rest days. I'll possibly do a session or two next week. The brow lady said it's really the first sort of 3 to 4 days when you don't want to be doing any kind of like strenuous exercise that could cause sweating. And then after that, I can sort of potentially do some exercise, which to me could mean training. So we'll just see. I might get a session or two in before billing, or I might just leave it as like a full deload, to be honest. Come back from my holiday, and then it'll be like Monday the 27th, and I'll have like a week to kind of get back into my training with like probably about like a devolume week, to be honest, because I'll be a little bit battered from going away and having such quite a long time off, to be honest. So that will be the plan for the rest of the off season. And then you can very much look forward to a prep series starting. Obviously, I feel like I haven't prepped for ages. It has been a nice solid off season, stepping off stage in June 2023, and now coming to, going back into prep again finally. So I'll probably do another video, like a bit of an off-season wrap-up video, and just kind of go through my off-season, what I did differently this off-season. Obviously, we've got like, you know, the difference in not using anabolics this time round and things like that. And just generally like, you know, keeping a better body composition, more mini cuts. I obviously coach myself through quite a lot of this off-season as well. So it was quite different in quite a few ways. And I will probably do an off-season wrap-up video next time round, as we'll be in like the final week then before my prep starts. But right now we're 2 weeks out from prep starting, which means I know exactly how many weeks out I am from my show as well. I won't be revealing anything like that though. It'll be all about weeks in rather than weeks out. And we'll obviously just kind of see how it goes. And, you know, if we do an earlier show, we do one. If we stick to that schedule, then great. But we'll see. Apart from that, thank you as always. I am noticing people liking the videos more, like better views and things like that. Please do keep it coming when you like the video. It really does help to grow the channel. So please do like it if you've got this far. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And any questions, any queries, obviously we're going into February now, very soon, which will get very busy for coaching after everyone's kind of recovered from Christmas properly. So if anyone wants to inquire for coaching, please do. Now is a very good time for me to be taking on new clients. So coaching link is in the description below as well, if you want to inquire about that. Apart from that, if you just enjoying the videos, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.